Peace. I am here today at the cafe. The garden is behind me. Got a wasp that's been in here all day, and so I didn't want to go on that side. It's not to interrupt any process of him finding his way out. And I realized, I think someone told me this a couple years ago, that the reason they go towards the light is because they recognize sun and light, but they don't understand like glass and windows and obstructions and things like that. So whenever I see them like at the window or going towards the light, I know it's their intent to get out. So I'll either let them find their own way, or I can just coax him out when I get ready to leave out. But today, y'all, I was thinking about my dad. I remember he used to tell me, Jamila, I have two golden rules. He said 2 daily rules. He said just 2 daily rules. He said, remember these 2 rules? These are your daily rules. So his number one rule was to have a great day every day. Rule number 1, you are to have a great day every day. And then rule number 2 was to not let anyone ruin your day. So those were the 2 golden rules. Those were the 2 daily rules. That's what he told us. Number 1, to have a good day every day, a great day every day. And number 2, never let anyone ruin your day. And so my dad, I think, was way ahead of his time. And I would just, if I would call him upset, he would say, Jamila, what's the rules? Never, have a good day every day, never let. I would just run them off just to say them. But to actually process that, it took me years and years and years. But I know he planted the seed. And whatever seed you plant, that's what you can expect to grow. And so even though it didn't register like it does to me now, I was, even just reciting it, just saying it until it became true. That's the whole practice. So I was listening to Joe Dispenza today, and he was saying, like, when you first start with your affirmations, I am rich, I am wealthy, I am well, I am healthy, blah, blah, blah. He said, it feels like it's a lie. It's like I'm just sitting there saying this out loud, and I'm lying to myself. But he was saying, if you repeatedly tell yourself those same things, then eventually they become true. Your subconscious mind is only going to allow whatever you put there, and it's going to process that. And so if you keep telling yourself that, keep programming your subconscious mind to be wealthier, to be healthier, to be whatever, then that's what it's going to attract and bring forth. So that was just interesting for me. Just for a second, I thought about my dad again. So yeah, those were the 2 daily rules. And if I think about it just like now, like to wake up and have a good day every day. And so my children and I were having a conversation, and I was just telling them that there are some days that are just where it's not easy to be happy. I'll say that. There are some days when we wake up and it is not easy for us to be happy. Okay. But even on those tough days when it's not easy to be happy, we can still be grateful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would say, like, if you're here, you're winning. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you wake up with, this just the happening. We have no control over the happening. We are just part of the happening, and just learning to embrace whatever is happening, and then just dealing with it as such, so you can have a good day every day. So it doesn't mean I have to be happy every day. It doesn't mean that I have to be extremely joyous every day, although I do live in the joyous expectancy of the best. So only the best comes to me. But then, God has a sense of humor, and there's that, button that God gets to push, plot twist, or, joke, and then we just have to kind of just walk in it. So I told my son this just real quick. So usually I'll have my phone to be charged, and I'll have my YouTube on my phone already, Bluetooth and ready. But I got another phone. So I don't have any apps downloaded. I don't have anything. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is going to be a long ride. So I got in the car. I was like, well, I guess I got to listen to the radio or listen to silence. So I turned the radio on. Why were they playing a Chicago house song? Where you from? Southside. Well, so wait a minute. Really? Oh my God. So for like 30 seconds, y'all got to jam, and then it went off to something totally different. But I thought about that. Had I been like, oh my goodness, I don't have my stuff. Let me go download my app. I would have missed that. And so when things don't go the way we want them to go, it's only one operative power outside of ourselves, which is connected to it. So again, it's only one. And if things don't go the way that we think we want them to go, it's only because they're going the way Source determines they are going to go. And you don't get to tell God what to do. Let God be God. You know what I'm saying? And then we just manifest the internal. We take God with us and do the things that we do, but we'll let Source do what it does and just give us the ability ability to tap into that, but just being present in the moment, just being present in the moment. And so I thought about like what my dad said, don't let anything or anybody ruin your day, and that includes yourself sometimes. So just getting out my way, just allowing the happening to happen, just saying, well, I don't have to, let's just see what happens and just ride. And so I caught that little glimpse, and that's the little things like being present here in the moment, because even though right now it's temporary, like I was here, not worried about why I left the headphones or where they were, or I keep saying headphones because I got headphones too that I could use for Plan B, but again, I didn't have the app downloaded and I didn't have that Bluetooth, so that would have taken me forever. So yeah, I don't know, the technology thing, I just do the best I can, I think, just to kind of stay away from it. I do whatever the minimum I have to do to participate, but nothing extra. I don't have a smart anything that attaches and can communicate with. No, none of that. And so again, I think my dad was a little bit before his time. And so even though I could tell, it was days that, again, hard to be happy when you first wake up, and he kind of struggled through some of those days, but he kind of, he got through them as well. And I could just tell when it wasn't like the best day. And so here's what he used to say. Every morning when we would wake up, he would say, Jamila, today is the greatest day in the history of the world. Now, I was a little girl, again, all these things he's been telling me since I was a little girl. And so, yeah, Daddy, today is the greatest day in the history of the world. But that was a little different for me. And I was like, why? He's like, come on, you have to see why. So I wake up, I get dressed, I'll be all happy to go to school. Like, why? Because today is the greatest day in the history of the world. I'm about to find out why. And I come home like, wait, what? Okay, we went to tap dance this Thursday. My mama cooked. What? I don't know. Then the next day, Jamila, wake up. Why? Today's the greatest day in the history of the world. I'm like, why? Just come on. And so I realized that it took me a while, like, how do you keep a fool busy? Turn over. How do you keep a fool busy? Turn over. How do you keep a fool busy? Turn over. How do you keep a fool, the papers. So it took me a while, guys, but then I'm like, you know what? He says the same thing every day. So it's a trick to it. It got to be a trick. Because if you say the same thing every day, when is it really going to be the greatest day in the history of the world? And so, I remember when he called me, he had, gotten sick, and everybody knew he was sick. Even he knew he was sick, but my daddy, this is what happened. So we're at the kitchen table. My mom calls me, like, Jamila, your dad won't go to the doctor, and he's really getting worse. So I come to the house, and so I sit at the table. We're all at the table. And then she's like, Al, you need to go to the doctor. He's like, no, I'm not going. So, Mom, that's okay. I'll just call, 911. So y'all get up. We had the phone was on the wall, so I'm over here down the table. So I get up and I grab the phone. Y'all, why my daddy? Now, at this point, he's frail, but he's still taller than me. He comes behind me, grabs the phone out my hand and hangs it up. He says, Jamila, you can't gorilla a gorilla. And when I tell you that he was, bam. All right, see, that's what I'm saying, sense of humor. Daddy, you here? I got it. I love it. But you always are. You always are. You always are. Yeah, he always is. When you see me, you see my father. And that can be on the whole. Okay, Daddy. Okay, look, let me do this video. Father. Okay, and 3 times the charm. So if it falls again, we'll just end the video there. But yeah, so he told me you can't gorilla a gorilla. So the phone was hung up. Eventually he did go. And so we're at the house waiting. He goes to the doctor. My mom takes him. He calls me. He's like, Jamila, I got something to tell you. I was like, what? He's like, I got a little C. I was like, what you mean? What's a little C? He's like, I got, a little bit, the C word. I was like, what, Daddy? He said, they told me I got cancer. And so I said, Daddy, is today still the greatest day in the history of the world? And he said, yes. He said, yes. Like, when it mattered, still said yes. You know what I'm saying? So taking that to heart and really, truly understanding every day. Like, today is the greatest day in the history of the world. Every day. And like he would say, I said, something, a bad day, it's a bad day. He said, no, there's no such thing as a bad day. He said, every day is a good day. Try missing one. And when you put it in perspective, yeah, you miss a day. That's the only bad day. It's the day. And I don't even know if that's bad or not, but we'll get into that later potentially. But yeah, so it just crossed my mind. Just wanted to run through a little quick video, sharing, a little bit more stories about my dad. As I said, I spent the first half of my life just getting his lessons, listening to his lessons, and absorbing his lessons. And I want to spend the last half of my life sharing those lessons with others. Okay, so keep in mind 2 daily rules. Number 1, have a great day every day. Number 2, never let anyone ruin your day. And when you wake up each day, just remind yourself that today is the greatest day in the history of the world. Peace. A word from our sponsors. All right. Hey, how we gonna do that? So this, guys, the infamous Jasmine Ginger. For most of you all, if anyone has ever had a tea from Cafe Serenity, Jasmine Ginger has been one of your favorites. It is a beautiful blend of green tea, a hint of lemon lime, simple syrup, and fresh ginger root. And even those people who are not tea drinkers, they like it because it doesn't have that heavy, deep tea flavor. Because again, it's a jasmine tea, so it's a little more soft, it's a little more subtle, and it's sweetened with just a little bit of simple syrup. So yeah, Jasmine Ginger at Cafe Serenity. Yes. All right. So now, peace.